we're going to take a look at some composite figures. When I say composite, it just means that the figures are combined together. So you can see here, this is, if you look at the figure without this bar right here, it would be like a pentagon, a five-sided figure. This actually has a triangle and a square made up of it. So you can see here, the square would have a base of 7, a height of 7. The triangle, they don't list the base here, but you can just tell, since it's matched up with the square, that the base would be 7. And the height would be 3. The base and height always meet at a right angle. This dotted line here does not mean that these are two triangles. It's just describing the height. That's important to understand. So for the triangle, I would use the formula base times height divided by 2. I would then substitute the values. So we have a base of 7, a height of 3. And we'd eventually narrow it down to get 10.5 centimeters squared. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to find the area of the square. So the area of the square is we take side squared. We have 7 for the height. So we'd square that and we'd get 49. And once you do that, you're not done. You got to find the total area. So to find the total area, we would just add 49 plus 10.5 and make sure that 10.5, that looks like a 16. 10.5, the decimal goes right there. You could even, if you wanted to, put a decimal right there for 49, and we just add those up. So we get 59.5, and as usual, with area, we would put this in centimeters squared. Next example. This is kind of a confusing one, but the dotted line, again, that doesn't mean that this is closed. So this isn't a triangle right here. This is actually a parallelogram. So I will, just to show us how this kind of works, let's see if I can color this in here. Perfect. Alright, so you can see that's my parallelogram. That's one shape. And then the other shape is right here. That's my triangle. So we've got two shapes going on here. So you remember parallelogram, that's base times height. So we'd write the term parallelogram first, and then we'd write the formula next, just like we've been doing throughout area. Base times height. So we're going to substitute 7 and 12. Again, the base and height meet at a right angle. And we get 84 feet squared for the area of the parallelogram. The triangle, if you can take a look here, the height is 7. The base is 4. So again, the formula 1/2 base times height, or just base times height divided by 2. And we have half of 4, which is 2. 2 times 7, 14 feet squared. And then finally, as you'll recall, the last step is to add up both of those areas. So when we do that, we get 98 feet squared. I think we have, sometimes you'll see 3 shapes like we have here. Again, if it helps you to color things in, might not be a bad idea. So, I don't know, I'll make this, yeah, we could have just left it the same color. But you get the idea. Now we have decimals here. Don't be caught off guard with that. It's a square, you just multiply. Multiplying will take you maybe 30 seconds longer, right? Remember, when you're multiplying 7.5 times 7.5, you can use estimation. So you know 8 times 8 will equal 64. 64 is an overestimate. 49, 7 times 7, would be an underestimate. So this falls right in between. And you move the decimal over 2 spots, right? Because we have 2 decimals here. So we get that, 56.25 inches squared for the area of the square. The rectangle here is 4 times 12.5 inches. So when we do that, it would be 12.5 times 4, which comes out to 54 inches squared. And then finally the triangle, base times height divided by 2. We do 37.5 divided by 2, which is 18.75 inches squared. You will have to do this math out, of course. I mean, I did it fast here, so you get the shorter version of how to do this. But obviously, you'd have to solve this out. So you need to write neat, use plenty of space. But there's only a couple of problems on this when we take a quiz. And when we get the final answer here, make sure you put 54.00 to line up the decimals. And we end up with 129 inches squared.